Hello, welcome to Pack Your Bags with Tui. I'm Russell Kane. This is a show where we get celebrity guests on. We rifle through their luggage. They bring on 3 items and we see what those items tell me about their travel psychology, about their personality, about their emotional baggage. And at the end of all that, I'm going to hit them with a quick fire round, which will reveal even more while they're confused and thinking about their answers. And today, I am buzzing like a bee landing on an effervescent vitamin C tablet to introduce comedian, presenter, drag artist, just about everything he can be seen doing, and if you pay him enough, he'll sing us out. It's Rob Beckett.
Thanks very much. Thanks, mate.
How you doing, mate? You good?
But I'm very excited to be here because I love you and I love holidays.
Oh, mate, come on.
And I love sitting down talking.
But
it doesn't get better than this.
If people are wondering why I said drag artist, it's because the show you do with Romesh is so awesome, but we never know what you're going to end up getting up to, do we?
No, so we did do a drag episode where I became... And I'd say she's still a part of me.
I can't get it out of my head, though, the image of it.
Her name was Rusty Beaver, Toothy Diva.
Now, you're here to chat about your travel experience. You brought your 3 must-pack items along to the show. But before we get into that, each episode we've been getting a travel dilemma that has been submitted to us from our audience.
Oh, I love this.
Now, I'm not suggesting you're a travel expert per se.
I am, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say holidays, I am...
It's not like you got a degree in travel, is it?
I actually do.
What?
I've got a degree in tourism management, actually, a Bachelor of Science, a 2-1 from Canterbury Christchurch University College.
You've got a degree in tourism?
Yes, but I couldn't tell you anything. I went to uni at the time of sort of like the end of Labour, Tony Blair, where everyone went. You almost went in. Now it costs. I think I actually made a profit out of going uni at that point. I think I got paid to go. I can't remember. But basically, it was so like I could get all these grants where I got like. Oh, I got like a loan and I got some stuff paid for and whatever. And so basically, I just wanted to carry on getting on the piss. And it was either business management or tourism management. But I got to go to Malta for 5 days in the second year, so I thought I'd do that.
But given some of the holidays I've had, I think getting on the drink is almost part of the science of tourism.
In a way.
Certainly if your journey originates from Stansted.
Yeah. If you're coming from South East London to study tourism, my main tourism was getting pissed somewhere hotter than where I grew up.
So to light a Sambuca, you want the meniscus, the meniscus of the Sambuca must be placed next to the flame.
We actually did have like flaming Sambucas in Cos with a bloke called Marketing Dave because he was in our marketing class and no one knew his surname because it merged. But I'd love it. Do you know what? I was away and doing a winter sports episode with Romesh for Rob and Romesh. I just can't believe people go skiing in half term with children. The fact that they decide to pack all the layers up and go, I'm like, go somewhere else. Tenerife exists.
Have you ever been skiing with the kids?
I'm going to wait till they ask, but they haven't asked. And when they ask, I might. Because if they ask, when we get there and they go, carry my skis, I go, no.
Got a dilemma from a listener.
Okay.
I'm interested to see how you'd solve this. 2 mates are looking to go on another holiday this summer, but last time we had a massive argument halfway through.
Ooh.
We did get over it, but I don't know whether I want to go away with them again in case something similar happens. What should I do?
I wouldn't. You know, like a dog's for life, not for Christmas.
Yeah.
I think friendships, most of them aren't for life.
Oh.
They're just for that moment in time.
So friendships are just for Christmas?
Yeah, just for Christmas. But like really, like you work in an office and you sit next to someone you've not chosen to sit next to. You might get on with, you might not.
Yeah.
But you sort of think, well, actually our lives have gone separate ways. Bin them off. I'm not saying you don't have friends and after 5 years you should get rid of friends. But if you're going on holiday and it's stressful, don't go again. Yeah. It doesn't mean you still can't be friends.
Yeah.
Be friends, go to the pub, but I think maybe it's a shared accommodation. Maybe get your own room.
Most people got 4 weeks holiday a year. Yeah. Why burn one of them with people you know you're not going to get on with?
Or someone you might work with if it's your mate from work.
Exactly. Marketing Dave.
Marketing Dave.
Down it.
Maybe it's accommodation. Maybe go to, if it's a cost thing, maybe go to a slightly less expensive accommodation, but have your own bed, an own bedroom.
Right.
Because you can't share a room with someone, can you?
I couldn't share a room with a mate, except like when I go to Ibiza, me and my mate Dan sometimes just to really.
You're not in the room.
Teenage days, we have side-by-side twin beds and sit up talking till about 3 in the morning.
So stag do's, this is what I do on stag do's now. When I get invited to stag do's, I go, I'll meet you there. I'm not doing the minibus to the airport. I'm not doing the seats. I might even not do the same flight.
Yeah.
I'll meet you there. Send me the hotel. I've got me room.
Anyway, what's the first thing in your bag?
Oh, my bag. Okay, so, well, it's quite depressingly functional. I'll go this as the ones I can read first. Crocs.
Talk me through the pattern, though, the sort of rainbow
So I got these actually when I was in Orlando. Basically, for me, the Croc is the ultimate shoe for holidays with kids. You can push that forward and slip on them off like a flip flop, yeah. And they're good for the pool and for the beach, and also got enough bit of like grip and bounce that if you need to do a bit of bike riding with them or play a bit of football, you can walk in them. With flip flops, you can't always walk in and they fly off and stuff like that. So this, for me, waterproof, beach, pool, and then I got them this colour so you don't lose them.
Right, okay.
Because they're quite bright.
I didn't know if they were political Crocs.
They are not. I was actually wearing this when I got caught up in a protest.
Are you serious?
On my life. Did you ever see that?
No.
So I got stuck in traffic and I just put some Crocs on because I was going to do VO all day and I was getting
That's voiceover, listeners.
Voiceover, sorry, all day. And I like being comfy because you just sat down in the little room. So I thought, I'll just put my Crocs on. So I just put my holiday Crocs on. So I'm in the back of a car. We get stuck in traffic. I'm going to be late. And I was like, it's a 20-minute walk. I'll just walk it because you can with a Croc. Got out and I started walking and I was like, what's going on here? And then I was in the front of it and all of a sudden I get through this crowd and then there's a cameraman in my face and ITV News going, why are you leading this march? I went, you what? I turned round. They thought I was like a celebrity ambassador. And I went, I ain't involved. What am I involved in? Because I didn't even sit behind me. And then there's a clip of me on ITV News going, I'm just trying to get to work.
Did you travel much when you were a kid? I don't know if your background's very similar to mine. So is it was it caravans?
No. Well, yeah, we did a lot. Yeah, holidays were always a big part of our year and was very fortunate to go on them. My dad worked very, very hard for us to go on them. Classic South East London. We went to like caravan parks, Butlins, Potters, which is like a more upmarket Butlins. Oh. We never did camping. We didn't like that.
No.
But basically caravans, Butlins, Potters. And then we used to go to Spain. Yep. There was a guy who lived near us who had a place in Spain that we used to rent off him, and that was like a villa with its own pool.
Were you old enough to remember the first time you flew, or was it when you were little? When you don't?
No, little. We flew a lot. We would travel a lot. My mum and dad love holidays, so yeah. And then as we got older, my dad got made redundant from a job, and he spent his redundancy on taking us to Florida for Disney, which was amazing. And then my mum and dad took us to Australia to visit my uncle.
Wow.
Took us out of school to visit Australia. So we were very well travelled, which is something I'd be eternally grateful for my parents that they did that, because that was very much our priority as a family. It was all money was on holidays.
Would you say your relationship to travel has changed since you've had kids?
I used to find like going through security in the airport, oh God, horrendous, busy. And then when you have kids, it goes up a notch where it's mental.
Yeah.
And then now when I'm not travelling with kids, I'm like, this is what a lovely little afternoon. What a lovely morning, stood here queuing to get my iPad out my bag. So that is, I found travelling with kids until they were about 4 and would sit with an iPad hellish. I'd say save your money and wait till they get to the youngest is 4 and then go for something mental.
How do you cope and stop yourself having a meltdown when you're travelling?
Always got my headphones with me. Noise cancelling headphones on a flight are absolutely key, especially when you're alone. Like if you're kids, it's hard to. But like big ones that just like I've got them big Air Max ones, whatever they're called, like the Apple ones, and they're really good for sound. And you put them on, you press my button, it goes boom, and so there's noise cancelling because other people drive me mad. If I am frustrated, like we've had loads of times when flights been cancelled and things like that, I'm actually better in a crisis. I remember you used to watch these people going, well, this is ridiculous. What? And I was just like, I just don't want to be that person. I'd rather just be silently angry than...
So you'd rather tolerate something being wrong than mug yourself off by complaining loudly?
Yeah, because also as well, like most of the time with air travel, the reason people get so angry is that there's nothing that can be done.
Yeah.
Because you're trapped.
Yeah.
You're on a plane or whatever. So you just accept it. And accept you're going to be a bit late.
But what's your missing? Like, see, I'm married to a northerner, and their whole culture is, excuse me, thank you.
Really?
Yeah, like if I'm in a restaurant and my food's not right, and I've accidentally mentioned it, or Lindsay's seen the chicken breast isn't right, it's for me to decide whether I want to tolerate that chicken. But Lindsay's like, no, I'm sorry, Russell. Thank you. Excuse me. And then everyone's looking at me and I want to die under the table of embarrassment. I would rather eat a bloody chicken breast and be passing liquid for a week than deal with the social embarrassment of having them a missus.
So Lou's like you. Lou will not say anything.
Yeah.
But then like we ordered a steak the other day and her steak came. It was fillet steak. And then mine was like a nice round, like the perfect steak they had in the Matrix. Like that steak. And there was 4 of us, and all 3 of us had this like juicy, lovely stuff. And then she had like a weird like end bit that she wanted like medium, but they had done it a bit too much. It just looked like it weren't the same like that. And then Lou was, it'll be fine, And I'm like, oh no, I've got to say, and I don't really want to say something. It's hard as well when you're on the telly.
Excuse me, I'm Rob Beckett.
Yeah, I know. And I just said, oh, excuse me. And she went, oh yeah, can I have one? Oh yeah, it's just my wife's steak. And I didn't know how to. And I just went, it's a bit ratty. And they were like laughing. I was like, it's like a bit of a rat. And she was like, it's what? I was like, it's a bit ratty. And then she was like, no, it's the same one. It's just the end of the cut. And I was like, all right. And then they redid another one. But yeah, I have to do all the complaining.
What's item number 2 in your bag of wonder?
So these, it's so boringly functional, this. My second item is an extension lead with a adapter plug already on the UK plug. Everything needs plugging in on holiday.
Yeah.
Don't it? All sorts. You've got Kindles, iPads, a lot, phones. Anyway, this is the UK to EU adapter, and I've got it plugged into an extension lead.
A bank of 4 plugs.
And it's got a bank of 4 plugs. And I'll be honest with you, this is one of my smaller. I've got a bigger one I take.
Yeah, with USB attachments in it.
With USB attachments in it.
I know the model.
And USB-C.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what this is, you only need one adapter. So you plug that in the wall. Now I've almost got like a data center where I can charge everything, and I find one sort of side in the hotel room, and I plug my one adapter in with the extension lead plugged in, and that is where phones get charged, iPads get charged. And one thing to mention, you cannot take an extension lead in hand luggage.
Some things are perceived as they could potentially be problematic on board.
Yes.
I just recently played a country for the first time, the Cayman Islands, the Caribbean, and my father-in-law, who's a prepper and organizer and goes around my house switching my power off and my lights off and stuff. Okay. So he's always worried about our cases splitting open when we get to the other side. So he had in his bag gaffer tape, right?
Well, in case the bag ripped.
In case his bag ripped. And the guy went, you can't take gaffer tape. Well, this is ridiculous. What could you possibly...
on hand luggage?
Yeah. What could you possibly do with gaffer tape? Like, have you watched any Liam Neeson films ever? You can't take gaffer tape.
I get gaffer tape in the big bag going in the hold, but he thought a bag might explode mid-flight.
As it came round and it had a split in it, he could hit it with his gaffer in his hand.
So he stood gaffer up. He's gaffered up,
like,
waiting.
Dude, you've literally got props from a budget B movie with Liam Neeson in it. I didn't know that about.
I just got my throwing stars.
It's a good travel tip, though. In all seriousness,
genuinely, as a parent,
but it's good to know to make sure you put that in your holders. It might be problematic at some securities. So it's a good travel tip.
That is because what also happens as well, if you've got 5 adapters for all the 5 different things, there's never 5 plugs.
No.
You need one plug socket. That's straight in.
If you've got interconnecting rooms or the kids have got their own area, you need 2 of them. Because some with the younger kids that are still on the baby monitor and all that, you go over, how am I going to plug the baby monitor? What you might have
I was proud of that one.
White noise machine. Yeah, dude, you're changing lives here. What's your best type of holiday then with a family? Let me be more precise. What's the best family holiday you've been on?
So I genuinely think it's probably Orlando, but I have to battle with my wife in the way we do it for me to enjoy it more or her to enjoy it more. There's a bit of a compromise.
You've got a bit of a fear of roller coasters, haven't you?
Yeah, so I find them terrifying. So, but I can get on the sort of... Basically, I'm going through the levels with my children as they get taller. And they're tall enough for like Hagrids and the pretty fast ones. But so my idea is laying down in the sun near a pool and properly relaxing. But I can't do that for 2 weeks. For me, if I'm exhausted from a tour... right, and I've got 1 week, I will go to an all-inclusive and I will not move. I will get from the airport to the all-inclusive. I will not leave the all-inclusive. Yeah. I will do nothing apart from sleep, eat and rest 100%. However, in like the summer holidays, when I've not been working as much and I've got a bit more energy, I would pick somewhere like Orlando where we get a villa and then we do a bit of a pool day, go to the parks, go to like the basketball, and go to like see the alligators on the, the swamps and stuff. So that's what I'll do. But when I'm exhausted, all inclusive.
So obviously that is cultural, what you just described, driving around Florida. But do you ever do any, what I mean, cultural? Do you ever like, come on kids, we're going to Venice to poke around the side streets?
Take them to Copenhagen a lot. We go to Copenhagen at Christmas to go Tivoli.
That's random.
Well, it's very cold and Christmassy, and Tivoli Gardens is amazing at Christmas. It's the most beautiful and Christmassy place ever. So it's like an hour flight and 15 minutes from the airport. So we've done that a few times, and that's our like entry level into like we went to like an exhibition and a museum with the kids that they quite enjoyed, but also did a bit of ice skating. Now they're 7 and 9. I think they're old enough to try that.
That wouldn't have been part of your childhood, I'm guessing.
Absolutely not. We would drive to Benidorm so my mum could have fish and chips halfway through a 2-week holiday. Like, they could not survive 2 weeks without fish and chips in Benidorm. We'd drive from Javier to Benidorm. My kids are coming out with Lou to, when I do Australia, I'm hammering Australia and New Zealand tour, and then they're coming out to Sydney, and we're going to do Sydney, the Gold Coast, and then fly back through Japan.
Yeah. If you ever snatch a little break, just you and Lou, do you feel guilty? Do you use grandparents? How does it work?
Yeah, we use the grandparents for them, but I think it's a good thing to do that. I don't feel the guilt. The way I look at it is that they're very happy, the kids, with the grandparents, and the grandparents are very able and very happy to have them in a lovely home that's got space. So there's no issue with that kind of thing. The guilt, I think...
The blood relative clause as well.
Exactly.
It's a blood relative, the guilt doesn't count.
And they're fairly... My dad, they're like in their 60s. Well, my dad's 80 now, and he still looks after the kids, and he's probably too old for it, but it is free childcare. I just sort of hide his car keys.
Just remind me how many kids there are again.
Yeah, I'm just going to take your car keys with me, so why don't you stay in for the day? Don't need to be driving my children anywhere. So I think, look, from my point of view of parenting, in order to be a good parent and a good husband or wife, you need to be in a good emotional place.
Correct.
Okay? And 2 nights away, or even a night away, can have such a massive impact on your mental health of a bit of time. For me, you lose your sense of self when you have kids, don't you? You become dad, you become mum.
And your sense of couple as well, that romantic
not just
connection.
yourself. And then if you've got that time to relax and recharge, and then you remember why you fell in love with your partner in the first place, why you decided to have children, because you can forget that sometimes.
Course, yeah.
And I think you will come back so recharged, refreshed, and also you'll go, do you know what? I'm so lucky to have this child or these children and enjoy time with them. I think it's very important, actually. Not only should you not feel guilt, you should actively be doing it and praise yourself for doing it.
Great advice. Before we move off of it, let's create an age, number of nights matrix.
Okay,
so,
hit me.
So I think up till the baby's about 9 months, because it's so unaware, there's sort of like a bell curve of guilt. When it's a milk slug, as I called it, milking poo out.
That's more the parent's issue rather than the baby.
Correct.
The baby doesn't care.
Once you go past about 8 or 9 months, we're in different territory.
Yeah.
So let's say we're dealing with, how old are your kids?
7 and 9.
Right, this is perfect. So my daughter's 9.
Yeah.
7 and 9. What's the maximum number of nights you would do?
So for me, it's 4 or 5 nights, mainly because that's enough for me and Lou to recharge.
Yeah.
And if we are just going somewhere that's like beachy or a pool, I actually really enjoy spending time with the kids. Don't think I could do a week or 2 weeks.
No.
I'd feel really guilty. I'd really miss them. And after that, I think really 2 to 3 nights if I'm just going for a city break and a chill somewhere, but potentially 4 to 5 nights if it was long haul, say it was Vegas for like a big birthday thing where there's nothing for the kids there, I could probably do to 4 to 5 nights, but I don't think I could do any longer than that. But I'm at the stage now and I think the kids would find it difficult after that. So 4 or 5 nights for me.
It sounds like you're saying half the child's age plus 1 is the number of nights. 16-year-old, that's 9 nights.
Well, yeah, but also as well though, like now, like because they do really miss us. But a 16-year-old might be like, yeah, right, bye then.
Well, no, do you know what's happened?
It all depends on everyone.
So we just did our first family Christmas abroad with both sets of parents. We've never done it.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. My mum,
that's a separate podcast.
My mum and her boyfriend and Danny, and even you,
Danny.
And
I've met him. Same Danny, though.
Yeah, same Danny. Yeah. Lindsay's parents and my daughter, and we went to Barbados. Nothing flash, self-catering on 4-star on the beach, but it's lovely. Still a very privileged experience. I get that. I thought it was the best time. When we came back, my daughter said to me, Daddy, I loved it, but I prefer Christmas at home. Oh, really? And I said, but that's the only time I'm like you, I'm guaranteed to get off over Christmas, where I know I'm not going to get a cheeky phone call that makes me do a job.
Yes.
Between December the 20th.
It's dead, isn't it?
It's dead.
And
So I said, that's when me and Mummy have to go away. She went, well, you go without me next year. And even though I want to do half the age plus 1 and...
Not Christmas, so you can't leave her.
Not Christmas. Christmas and New Year. So me and Lindsay are going to go January the 1st next year, New Year's Day for 5 nights. And she's not bothered. Even though I've only got 5 nights. So what kind of twisted part of me is now bothered that she's not bothered?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wouldn't be bothered. So that when I go, I feel a bit of guilt. But I think that's quite a nice way to do it, because especially you'd have had all the Christmas with her and having fun, and then she gets a bit bored of you, as they do. In summer holidays, the kids get bored of me.
But is your oldest a girl or boy?
Get 2 girls, 9 and 7.
But don't you think 9's quite early for my daughter to be kicking me out the door and going, don't worry, I won't be upset?
Yeah, but you are quite full on.
You sod. Oh no, that one hurt. What's your third and final item?
Oh, this is very functional and boring, but quite key actually. I've got my my prescription sunglasses.
Oh, I love a prescription sunglasses.
So these, I basically went to opticians and I got these, which are the same as these, but some are dark. I know it sounds really stupid, but like I think maybe it's the background where we're from and stuff like that. But I didn't really realise they were waterproof shoes when I was younger. Like, if you go out when it was raining, you had wet feet. But no, there are. You could buy better ones. And the same, I used to go on holiday and just buy sunglasses, cheap sunglasses, and then try and read them out. And just have an headache for a week.
So you struggle to read, but can you see distance all right?
So I can't see distance. But even up close, it like gives me a headache even reading for a little bit.
So you need a bifocal, mate.
What's that?
Right, so I've got them for reading.
Yeah.
But when you look up, you can't see who's talking to you because you're blurred.
Yeah.
At the same time, the page is too bright if you want to read when you're on holiday.
Yeah. Well, that's the only time I read, actually.
Well,
I'm a
why is
terrible
that?
reader because I have time. And you can read. So what I do is the kids play together in the pool now, so I can I normally sit on the edge, feet in, book out.
Yeah.
And I like
fiction, non-fiction.
Because I've recently found out I've got dyslexia, so I've got terrible working memory, so I can't retain information.
It's great for a comedian.
Exactly. So
come and see Rob live. Where are you? I don't know.
It's written down somewhere, you find out. I'll know where I'm going. Someone will drive me there. But I need books that are sort of broken up. So I like books that like lots of articles put together, or I like a biography where I sort of know the person already because I understand the through line and now I'm just getting the detail. I really struggle with fiction where it's like, here's a new story. I'm like, oh my God, there's too many people and too many things to put together. Yeah. So I'll read a chapter and then by that chapter's got, I'm like, oh God, what's that again? I can't retain it.
So you
all.
don't read stories and fiction?
Not really, no. More non-fiction and biographies, or like I'm quite into stoicism and stuff like that. I quite like that. That helps me.
That's what Lindsay's just got into.
Oh, it's amazing.
There's a really thin book by John Sellers that introduced the idea of it in short chapters.
Yeah.
And then even if you read the original, I mean, it's gone a bit Radio 4 in here, but even Marcus Aurelius, one of the original, I'm going to read some Latin dude's but it's really easy to follow, isn't it?
Easy at meditations, because it's all just mind burps.
But it's full of mind burps. I love that. It's full of stuff that's actually useful. It's like when you get up in the morning, tell yourself you're going to meet a lot of idiots today. They're going to test your patience and be ready for idiots. You're like, what a great bit of advice.
Yeah.
First idiot hits you, you're like, I was ready for you, mate. So my daughter's 9, yeah? What annoys me is when she was a baby, she was eating like biltong, dark chocolate, sauerkraut. People came around to behold my baby that ate everything. What's it? A bit of dried beef and some salad. How have you done it? Well, what can I say? I'm a genius. Yeah. And she sleeps through the night. Now, nightmares in the middle of the night and won't eat anything. Really? So I've just done a week in the Caribbean with the most beautiful, fresh, local ingredients of fish, chicken tenders for lunch, chicken tenders for dinner, croissants for breakfast every day. We're in a beige phase. How do your kids eat on holiday? So
our kids, my eldest is pure queen of the beige to the point where it's almost becoming a personality trait where she's like, I love bread. You know what I mean? So, and then my youngest is a bit more adventurous, but it's still just like pasta with tomato sauce and cheese. Yeah. Where my eldest is pure plain pasta, like to the point where we was on holiday in Dubai and was like going like, "Can I have some pasta?" And was like, but no oil, no salt, no pepper, just plain pasta. And then so they weren't eating anything, but it was this amazing food in Dubai. And then it got to the point where like we ordered this pasta and then they ate some of it, but they didn't eat enough. You know, when like they're not eating enough. So I grabbed like I was like, they're going to want some more later. So I was all stressed. And in the end, I just grabbed a handful of pasta. I should have just asked for a container, but you know, you think, oh, sorry. So I just grabbed a handful of pasta and put it in my pocket.
I was the only one that did that.
We went for a walk along the beach. I was just getting bits of pasta out of my pocket and feeding our dog tree.
I thought I was the only buffet raider. Do you think travelling with kids changes the way you see new things? Like you're living it through their eyes? I find when I go away with my daughter, I have a more childlike... I mean, we're comedians anyway, so we tend to look at things with childlike eyes. But my kids make me see the childlike wonder in things. Yeah.
I mean, like, I think doing the roller coaster and stuff, they're like the energy and excitement that pours out of them is just like they're like, oh my God, and they're just to see them that happy and buzzing, and that's why I got on the roller coasters because I used to just wait for them to come off, and they were having so much fun. I felt so separate from it, and so I felt like, you know, Bruce Willis in Sixth Sense, he's just dead. I just felt I was just like a dead man, just watching his family carry on without me, just stood in.
You're haunting, Disney.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I forced myself on, but yeah, no, like when they're into something, I've always been one of those dads where it's like, when I was into Taylor Swift, I turned up and was into it, and I made sure I listened to music. I didn't. Sometimes there's gigs you see like the dad with noise cancelling headphones on and a Sudoku. I'm like, come on, mate.
Yeah.
Put a bit of effort in. Do you know what I mean? It may not be your favourite, but he's,
At least have glittery noise cancelling headphones.
Exactly.
And a Swifty t-shirt.
Yeah.
Shall we crack on with a quick fire round? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask you these questions. Let's see what it reveals. Here we go. Who would be your dream, apart from me, of course.
Of course.
Who would be your, and Ramesh.
Yeah.
Who would be your dream celeb travel partner?
Simon Calder.
Oh, he's a travel journalist, isn't he? He used to write in The Independent.
Yeah, he's whenever there's any sort of travel news, he's the one on the news reporting from the airport. He knows everything.
I was so
he
sure
knows
you
your rights. He knows what to do, he knows what passport needs what. He knows how long he delayed before he gets the money back. He might be a bit much.
Yeah.
I might just sort of travel with him and then get to the hotel and go, you're down there, I'm down here, mate. See you departure.
I was so sure you were going to say a footballer. I was like, does he play for Watford?
Who else would be fun? I mean, Alan Carr is a great, Tom Allen, a great, but also what's difficult with a travel partner is you need different levels where, like, if it's a party, you want someone like Alan Carr. But then if you're after day 3 and he's like, right, let's go out again. You're like, right, mate, calm down.
Yeah. Most embarrassing travel memory?
When we was leaving Tenerife, I left a suitcase at reception at the hotel and I had to send the coach back to get it. It was my fault. God. And then he went, I'm going to go back to the hotel to pick up other people for the next flight. I can bring it with me. So then my wife was just queued for the check-in. And then I waited just at the bit where all the taxis pull in for the coach for an hour.
Oh, my God.
And it was she had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old with her. And I was just stood by the side of the road waiting for a coach. And I couldn't remember which one. And every time it was just like, oh, no. And then eventually and Lou was at the back of the queue. And eventually got to the front and then had to let people go like in front of her.
No.
In front of her. She just waited and waited.
With
and
the 1 and 3-year-old?
Yeah. And then we just got it. But it was so stressful. It was awful.
First thing on your plate at the buffet?
Breakfast, lunch or dinner? What are we dealing with here?
Let's go breakfast.
Breakfast, I will find the egg station if what they have on.
Yeah, I love an egg station.
I love an egg station. I would go poached eggs, avocado, and then bacon. And yes, a streaky bacon, poached eggs, avocado.
I'm hungry now, shut up. My biggest travel ick.
Travel ick is those cases with initials on. You know, that sort of Towie Essex, just the initials. So like, I get it, you want to know which one's yours, but just get a label on it.
I put a sock on mine. I tie a sock around the handle.
Why sock?
Because when I went to Australia, I went to Brisbane. My case has got the tag on it and all of that. But it's still, if someone's tired enough, a bright sock around the handle. No one's going to miss a sock. Right. Someone took my case. I turned up in Brisbane in the pajamas that you get given on the aeroplane, and that was all I had in my hand luggage. God. So I had to go to their equivalent of Target or whatever it's called at 8 a.m. and buy some clothes, and my case turned up the day before I left. Horrible. So the sock, I tie a sock. Thoughts on clapping when the plane lands?
Insane. Absolutely insane.
What are you applauding?
I know, it's mental. It's like he literally does it every day, or she does it every day. The pilot does it every day. Yeah, you don't clap anything else.
Mind you,
mental.
We do stand up every day, and you like a bit of applause at the end.
Yeah, true. I'll tell you what. Actually, let's clap everyone. Great question, by the way.
Thank you. Somewhere new or same place?
Depends on how tired I am. If I'm exhausted and I've been working loads and everyone's knackered in the house, same place. If we've got a bit of energy in the tank, somewhere new.
That's the Japan holiday coming up.
Yep.
Holiday plan.
No one wants to arrive in Japan tired.
No,
exactly. Sort of the sense.
Yeah, we'll just find our way when we're there.
Oh God,
you won't.
I don't want rice.
Holiday planner or just turn up?
Planners. Yeah, we're planners. We get an itinerary going.
Lie in or early riser? On holiday this is. As stand-ups, we've got no choice.
I'm a lie-inner, but at certain hotels, you've got to be an early riser and get that tail out.
Yeah.
I do it, I'm afraid. I do it.
Favourite city break?
Seville.
Everyone keeps saying Seville to me. I've never been there.
So, do you like the heat or do you get too much? You love the heat?
On holiday, I like the heat.
So I would recommend going to Seville in August, even though it can get to 40 degrees, and it's called the Cauldron. And when we arrived, the taxi driver said, you loco, but with disgust. And we were like, oh God, what have we done? Anyway, it was hot, but if you get a hotel with a pool, get up early, explore the city before it gets too hot. When it gets to about 1, 2 o'clock and it really ramps up, find a bar. And normally the bars have got like these fans with water mist that comes down, sit in the shade at the bar, and they bring these tiny little Canya's beers. They're so small. They're like not even a half a pint, a quarter of a pint.
I could taste it.
And they are freezing. All the glasses are in the fridge and freezers, and you just smash it back. It's like 2 gulps. And then by the time you put it down, they take the glass, new cold glass, Canya, bosh. Do that till about 2.
Do you do that with the kids or do you do it as a couple?
No kids.
Yes.
Then go back to the room, couple of hours sleep. Chill when it gets really hot, then go out about 5, 6-ish, and then go for dinner 8, 9, 10. and we were sitting drinking till 2 a.m.
Right.
Repeat.
Best place you've had to visit with work?
Jamaica was amazing. I love Jamaica.
What did you do in Jamaica?
We met Usain Bolt and did some sprint training, and then did like dances.
That's on my hit list of countries I really want to go to.
The vibe, so everyone's so chilled. It's amazing. Everyone walks so slowly and I was like, God, why is everyone walking so slowly? He went, it's too hot to rush.
Yeah, day 2, you're like slower than everyone else.
No, but yeah, exactly. But then when I came back from Jamaica, I've only been there a week, and I was like, I was walking slower because everyone we was these locals that are walking at that speed. But I got off the tube and I was still walking at Jamaica pace, and I nearly got crushed. It was like Lion King. You know when it's Simba's getting battered by the butt. I was like, what's going on here? Everyone's going too quick.
Active holiday or fly and flop?
Fly and flop.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah.
Kids' holiday essentials. iPad, we got that.
Chargers, headphones. I can't stand people with kids don't have the headphones on the plane or at dinner.
What about dinner? Activities or iPads?
At dinner, a mixture. If they've been in the pool all day and riding bikes and been swimming, I think let them just eat and have a bit of that, you know.
Yeah.
If they've been on iPad in the day, then we get rid of them. Or as the holidays progresses, get a bit of Uno out to play that. So a balance, because I think sometimes it's a bit unfair and they do too much in the day. Let them have a bit of telly and chill.
Other than the awesome Orlando, what would be your best family holiday destination if you couldn't go to Orlando and Disney? Where would you go?
We love Spain and Greece. Greece, the sea's beautiful in Greece, slightly better than Spain, I think. So, sorry to Spain. Yeah. But for me, Seville, for me and Lou, solo holiday. For me on my own, it would be going somewhere to like Buenos Aires to watch Boca Juniors or River Plate play football.
And for family?
I'd say a really good all-inclusive for a week where you can just chill and it's all lovely.
And this is so hard to, but best travel memory?
I went on holiday to Spain and I'd been so busy, and Lou had hurt her ankle, and it'd been a really stressful time over the summer, and we booked a last minute holiday, and we got on this balcony, and we had this balcony looking over the sea, and I was on this like day bed that was on the balcony, and Lou and the girls were like doing something chilled. You know, when like as a parent you have a moment where there is nothing to do, right? And you're not.
I've heard about.
You're not bargaining with time. You're not feeling guilty. They were just happy, chilling, doing what they were doing. And I went out on this balcony. I lay down, I put my head down, and I was like, there was nothing to do, nothing. My phone was being charged. And everyone. I laid down, and I could hear the waves. I could feel the sun on my face, but it was perfect amount of sun, so I weren't burning. It was going down, it was like a sunset on the sea, like that. I sound like that, and I started to fall asleep, and I was so relaxed. I actually thought I was dying. I was like, am I dying? Because it felt so. I was like, I think I'm dying. And at that point, I went, I'd be all right with that.
To be so peaceful.
Oh, I thought I was gone. I thought I'm out here. And you know what? I'm not mad about it.
I can still taste that beer in Seville.
Let's go Seville now.
Let's do it.
Let's get a cheap flight.
Oh, Rob, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on. What are you up to next?
So I've got a podcast with Josh, Parenting Hell. We do that.
I know.
You've been on it a couple of times.
I love that.
Yeah, we love having you on. It's been great. Yeah, and then I'm touring. This year's quite busy with touring. And then next year, I'm 40 and Lou's 40. So we're really going to hit the holidays hard. That's going to be
Any juicy TV books, anything you want to shout about? Obviously, we want to come and see you live. Where's the best place to look for tickets?
So robbeckettcomedy.com. I've got a run at the West End London Palladium. It's early next year, so there's tickets available for that. And smart TVs on Sky. Catch up, watch that. Yeah.
Great.
Cheers, Russ.
Well, thank you very much, Rob Beckett, for joining us. We have unpacked your bags. You've been awesome.
It's everywhere.
Right, we're boarding for Seville. We better get to gate 17.
Those little beers. Sorry.
What are they called? Not cannulas. That's what my nan had in her arm.
Not cannulas. Canyas or cagnetes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Canyas.
I know, no, I'll go to Seville. Ask for
one of those little ones, please, bruv.
I've been on a drip for a week. I used the wrong word.
Dos Cross Campo, please.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Pack Your Bags with Tui. If it is your first time listening, we got plenty more episodes for you to dig into with the likes of First Dates, Fred Syriacs, The Guardian food critic Grace Dent, or Dr. Zoe Williams from This Morning from season 1. Goodbye.